A potential new front opening in the trade war with China after an official comment is being viewed as a veiled threat over rare earth metals. Let's get to Eunice Yoon in Beijing. She has more on the story. Eunice.
Thanks so much, Becky. Well, the state economic planner sent Beijing's veiled threat through the national TV, saying if anyone were to use products that are made with the rare earths that we export to curb the development of China, then the Chinese people would be unhappy. So President Xi Jinping had visited a rare earths facility last week, and that first raised the speculation that China could use rare earths as a countermeasure. And so rare earths, as you guys were talking about, are used in pretty much everything when it comes to consumer electronics or defense equipment, and China produces about 80% of it. So analysts have been telling me that China could potentially restrict the sales to the United States in the name of national security. So the state media has been turning more explicit about this threat today. The most important one was the very authoritative Communist Party's People's Daily posting a column saying, "Don't say we didn't warn you." So it's important because Chinese people are talking about how this phrase was only used 2 other times by the People's Daily in history. So one was in 1962, ahead of the Chinese dispute with India when they went to war over a border. And then in 1978, right before China went to war with Vietnam. So this phrasing is seen as really serious. And I think the question now is, we are definitely seeing a surge in nationalism here. But then what can be done to try to claw things back so that we could get the two sides to the negotiating table and then have a hopefully constructive conversation? Guys?
Eunice, I guess with China being the one that is producing 80% of these rare goods, that's certainly what has people on edge about this and watching so closely. But rare earths are in other countries, including the United States and Australia, all over the place. They're just not mined in those places because China's doing it at a much cheaper rate than those other countries could do at this point. So it wouldn't mean necessarily the rare earths would go away, the products wouldn't be made, but it would mean they'd get much more expensive, right?
Yeah, it means that, yes. I mean, it means that they would get much more expensive, but also there's a timing issue because currently China, as you had pointed out, I mean, they dominate the industry. Mm-hmm. And I thought what was also interesting with this whole idea of China potentially using it, restricting the sales in the name of national security. The other thing that has been going around in the state press was that China is saying that they need to make sure that they have enough rare earths for themselves, that the domestic demand is handled first before China starts to sell it to other countries. So that's starting to also raise speculation among people who watch the rare earths industry here that China could potentially use this and say, well, this is a national security matter, so China needs to make sure that we have the rare earths first.